Hello, everybody. I know I'm just doing review after review after review. In fact, I probably will do more later, or I just need to get some for my throat because you can tell I'm getting a little scratchy. Well, at least I feel it. But hey, I've actually been sitting on this one for a little bit. I've been trying to rumigate it a little bit and trying to figure out how I feel on it because I'm a little split on it at first, and I think now I've let it sit, I have better feelings on it. And as you can see, yes, I'm diving into Bleach. Yeah, the funny thing is I actually have a friend who I know, she has this, not the Bleach part of it, she has it tattooed on the back of her neck. And I'm like, damn nerd. Yeah, I finally got into Bleach Volume 1, which technically is called Strawberry and Soul Reapers, I learned is its title. Those who do not know, Bleach is about a young guy, his name is Ichigo. I do know how to pronounce his name, strange enough. But Ichigo is from a family of people who kind of, like, they're sort of in like the industry of like dealing with dead people a lot. But he happens to be able to communicate with the dead. It's an ability he's had for a while. And because of this, eventually he gets visited by Rukia. I can't pronounce her name. I'm saying correctly. This young lady right here, this is Ichigo. This is Rukia. Now, Ichigo's not really a troublemaker, just constantly gets in trouble because bullies. They gotta be bullies. Bullies gotta be bullying. It's the best way to describe it. But he eventually meets her because she is hunting for a hollow, as they're called. Pretty much they are a ghost in a way that is malicious. They begin to feed off of people, they can hurt people, they can actually physically cause harm. And eventually Ichigo has to work with Rukia. For some reason or another, she's not able to tap into her powers as much as she should be able to. Or something happens, he's able to use her sword, and he actually is able to become a Soul Reaper. And in fact, it learns he joins her as part to be a Reaper. Now, I'm not going to get into the big, long Bleach debate about whether this power is more. I'm in Volume 1, folks, so let me get into it. And I'm going to admit, it's been a little bit since I've read this. I've reread some of it. Especially the part that I will say I didn't like. The first bit of the story, in fact, I would say also the last story, is not good. The first real chapters. First chapter, part of the second chapter, and the last chapter in this book are not very good. Their big problem is simply the fact that they drag. I know you can't just thrust us into this world, but it's not just dragging in the fact that there's not a lot of action. It drags in the fact that there's not a lot of good character moments going on. Most we learn about Ichigo at that point is that he's got a bit of a temper, but he's a good guy. That's it. There's nothing more to Ichigo at that point. Rukia doesn't even come in until the very end of the first chapter. And at first she's just kind of an asshole to him. It feels very much like any other anime you've probably, or manga that you've probably read at this moment. Because of that, I was kind of really unenthused with it. But then they actually got to fight one of their first hollows. Now, whenever that happened, you got to see some cool fighting going on. You also got to have some decent world building. You got to have more of Ichigo's character. And that was interesting. That was really well done. Then the final chapter, there's not very much of any of it. And it's just pretty much, it's a setup for the next chapter. It's the best way to put it. Or the next volume. It's like, okay, well, thanks. You couldn't even be bothered to do something. It's my same issue I have with the Inuyasha stories. They do the same damn thing all the time. It's like, oh, we could give you this, but instead it's going to be in the next volume. Thanks, assholes. Yeah, I think that the first volume is, or the first chapter is so weak. It's so devoid of anything interesting. I found myself really trying hard to get through it. Rereading it again, I still think that it's not a really good first chapter. In fact, it's a bad start for a manga. I think it takes it a bit to finally get started. Once it does get started, it does kind of begin to get at a good jog, but immediately stops again. Not only that, but I think that the story, the actual like story that's trying to bridge it all together, isn't being told in the most well connected way. I will fully admit I'm more of a serialized dude. I prefer my stories instead of having episodes that just happen to be around each other. I prefer them actually being interconnected somewhat. I don't mind having a large storyline across a season of a show or anything like that. I do have issues with just, oh, well, this is happening here, this is happening here, this is happening here. And this just happens to be after this because they aren't using this power. It's the reason why I do have my issues with Inuyasha. It's part of my issues with Power Rangers. They don't always have a serialized nature as they probably should, and because of that, it can suffer. And I will say, I think Bleach suffers from not having a super serialized nature. The chapters feel like they almost could be interchanged a little, except for how the first one is. And that's a problem. I don't need that kind of a storytelling. In fact, I don't like that type of storytelling because it kind of destroys the aspect of actually, having character growth. Instead, you just have characters doing stuff. Mind you, from what I do know about the series, it does take on a more serialized nature. It does actually have more stuff go into it that actually builds characters. And there is just a constant, better plot thread that goes through. But I think it's kind of missing that throughout this first volume. Despite all that, I will say I still enjoyed this for the most part. It did take a little bit of coaxing. The first chapter is just so blandly bad, and that's a problem. Like the first chapter in this, like supposed like, pardon me, hallowed irony, hallowed universe, this well-known anime and manga, is just aggressively boring. But with that being said, though, I think it does pick up the pace. It actually goes through and shows some interesting Hallow designs. I enjoy some of these more horrific designs, and I'm a bit of a horror kind of guy anyway, so I like these kind of more darker ideas and how stuff is. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm a little torn on it, but I'm not completely. I'm going to read the next few volumes. Let me put it that way. I probably should have picked a volume compilation that had 1, 2, and 3, but I wanted to read one just to see, is this worth my time? I'm torn. I am leaning more towards yes than I am no. And those who are wondering about it, if you are willing to put up with a story that maybe the characterizations could use a little bit more spicing up, could use a little bit more pepper and stuff like that, and you're willing to put up with that, you should be okay. I don't think you're going to be as pissed off as many others. If you are, though, you require, constant, just good storytelling, and action is more of a secondary thing, you might not be as sold on this. Though, maybe later volumes might be more telling. I feel very Naruto-ish about this. It seems weird to describe it that way, but those who have seen my Naruto review, I thought there was a good world being built up. I just didn't think it did anything with it. In fact, there wasn't much of a story within it. There was, the first bit wasn't too bad, and then it's like, alright, well, we did nothing else afterwards. Thanks. So, hey, I can safely say Bleach is, if I give it a score, it's like a 7 out of 10. It's good. It's nothing astounding yet. But, hey, I'm fine with something being good. Just don't expect like a review. Then at that point, just expect like, here, I finally picked this up. Yeah, it was good. It was good. This is good. This is alright. So hey, that's Bleach. I enjoyed it for what it was, even if there are parts I really, really struggled to get through. But hey, it wasn't as bad as many other things I've tried to get through. I will say that much. But I got more I need to do, though I need to take a break. Throat's starting to give way. And I will give you all more probably here after a little bit. So until then, everybody say bye-bye.